Alrighty, I've been talking a lot about pre-polish, and a lot of people seem super interested in it and don't know anything about it. So I'm just gonna make a video, and we've got some real do as I say, don't as I say as I do stuff kind of going on here. This is phosphoric acid, and it probably should be on something a little more stable than what it is. But there's no pets around, nobody else is out here. It should be fine. And if that gets knocked on to me at some point, it'd be a really cool video for you. You know, it'd be crazy. It'd be like a viral moment of, asshole burns himself during live stream or whatever. This is gonna be a long video. Usually we're making like really short videos, but I want to show you this piece in particular. That is a cool piece. Let's see, but it has so much texture on it that when you throw it in the rotary tumbler, it doesn't actually polish up that well at all. It kind of just stays that salmony kind of pink, except for, like, if you notice the bezel, right? The bezel's got that like real. I kind of need some slightly better lighting here. One sec. Yeah, there we go. You can see the high spots are shiny, kind of just like the whole entire bezel is like very shiny copper. But then every low spot has that pink kind of salmon color. So we're gonna try to polish it. And if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna go somewhere. I think for a piece this size, we'll start with like 2.5 volts and 0.3 amps. We'll just, a little higher than that. Third of an amp, 2.5-ish volts. Okay. You got your lead bar with copper attachment. Let's see. It's cleaned before. Take it out and clean it each time. It's not a good idea to leave it in the acid. I learned that the hard way. So, got lead bar in the phosphoric acid. That's this is what I'm using. I cut this down. I think it's 3-to-1. So 1 part 75% phosphoric acid to 3 parts distilled water is what I've got in there, along with a drop of Dawn soap, which I'll go ahead and add another little. There you go. It's been a while since I used this, so I'm not entirely sure that it doesn't need more soap. I don't know. I put more soap in there, so it is what it is. Let me find something to stir. And then we are gonna take the power supply over here. Let's see, give me 1 sec. Okay, yeah, I had to just double check. So I thought it's your item that is the anode, the positive, and that lead bar that is the negative. I wanted to be absolutely sure. It's the opposite of in the electroforming bath. So lead bar attached. We've got our positive piece. We are gonna, let's see, grab a piece of copper wire. There they are. Oh yeah, this is another little pro tip. These this copper wire here that I'm using, right, to hang the pieces with, you don't want to use jewelry wire. If you're not brand new, you've heard this before. You don't want to use, like, this is wire wrap wire that I use for little wire wrap stuff. The wire that I'm using to dip pieces into the electroforming bath and the phosphoric acid bath is this. This is like electric. I don't remember what exactly this was for. This is speaker wire or something like that. But you can pull it apart into these little tiny pieces. So freaking good at pulling that stuff apart now. It's like a Rubik's Cube, but for electroformers. So we've got the piece. Grab. We're going to attach the positive here. I like to, especially on the phosphoric acid for a YouTube video, I've got it attached to the loop. It's like extra hard to pull out of that. If a straight piece of wire can slip out of the teeth sometimes. Alright, so if we turn the power supply on, you see the available voltage there, 2.3 what we set, and no amperage. And when you dip this piece in, boom, you're going to see the amperage go up, and this is going to start polishing. It looks like it's going really slow right now. I think maybe the size of the piece is kind of a thing. I'm gonna turn up the amperage a little. I wonder if we can get a good visual. Alright. I think I still need higher amps. Let's see if I can set that. Cool. Turn it up until I see some kind of a little more action in there. Usually you'll see more bubbling. So I'm at 2 amps now. I think that's too high, I think. We're going to go down 1 amp and leave it right there. So if you watch, I've got you zoomed in right now on the piece, but the wattage does change, like the voltage necessary to push that amperage changes, and it's kind of an indication of how done the piece is. This is not, I've got the amperage or something wrong right now because it is not looking good. It's doing the burny kind of yellow thing, but that's okay. We'll get this dialed in and actually get it polishing. I think my amperage might just be too high. Just watch it for a second, see. I think you're starting to see it change. It's hard to tell. I'm not getting super close because the camera's on it. I don't want to start filming the back of my head. But I think that with a little bit more time in that, I'm just gonna keep it filming. I think I should do it maybe a minute or so. I'm not sure. Might have to change the voltage again. I don't have that much experience with the electropolishing. It's still a bit mysterious to me. And this is a slightly higher, like, area. This piece has higher area than I'm used to. I'm definitely used to smaller pieces. So we'll just watch for a minute. don't know. I feel like there's something going on. There is a uniformity in this now. Like I want to say it burned it into like a kind of uniform sitch right there. But let's see. I'm gonna up the amperage considerably. Let's see what we get here. Let's go back to about 1 amp. Let's see. Now I'm going to up the available voltage. What is the available voltage right now? I got it set to a maximum of 6 volts. Let's try. I'm going to try cooking her a little. I'm going to go to 2.5 amps. I think maybe the square footage on this, or the square inch, the area is too high. I'm gonna keep up in the amperage. Go to 4 amps. We should be getting visible bubbling, but we're not. I'm not seeing it from back here. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I don't understand. Maybe there was like an oxide buildup on that piece of lead. I do not know, but I think we're starting to get some action here. Let me turn this around. All right, so it looks like the final number for this piece, 4 volts, 3.9 volts, and 4 amps. 16 watts. I feel like that is substantially higher than what I was told I would need, but it is what it is. This is working. Also, when you're doing this, be careful not to touch the piece to the cathode, to the negative, that lead bar in there. You'll complete the circuit, and that piece will just start to burn up. It'll get all funkified on you. Alright, I think this has maybe 10 or 20 more seconds. I'll pull it out. And we'll take a look, see what she looks like. Yeah. And that's how it is sometimes. They would start. I don't know if you could see it well on camera, but when I first put that in and turned this on, it got like all red and disgusting and ugly. It just started to burn the copper, I think. I don't really understand why. Again, there's a lot of mystery here, and it's part of the process for me. But it's all pretty low stakes. Worst case scenario, that piece disappears through a black hole and I never see it again. That is what it is. Like, you could lose your piece, you could lose, I guess you could ruin the bath, you lose your acid of the lead, but it's all pretty low stakes to experiment and play with. I just wouldn't. I like these power supplies, they're relatively safe. Okay, I think I said 15 seconds about coming up on a minute ago, so... This is, you know what, I'm going to make a fresh batch. This is my ammonia and water mix that I use for, it's like a base, right? So you use it to get the acids off of these products. Turn the power supply off. Pull this girl out of here. I'm going to dip it real quick. I was going to mix up some fresh. I think it's going to be just fine. And maybe it's a little bit of copper sulfate on it, but then I'll just rinse it off right now in this distilled water. Boom. There you go. Let's see. There you have it. That is post electro polish. It honestly looks like you could maybe go a little longer. You see a little bit maybe pink or salmon color in the center there, where it's the deepest and hardest to reach, even for the rotary tumbler and everything. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good before and after. I think you can see the results of the acid bath, phosphoric acid, electropolish. I'll upload more videos like this eventually. I'm curious to know, like, if I leave that in there for another 15 minutes, 5 minutes, you know, I guess we'll just go ahead and do it. I'm just going to put it in for another 5 minutes and we'll see. I think it's mostly the back side too. Whatever side is facing the lead bar is going to get the most oomph. So, turn the power supply back on. Let's see. Zoom out. Ooh. My fingers are wet now. Yeah, that hurt. More surprised. So, I'm gonna balance this. Yeah, I need to flip her around and balance it. Stay. All right. Almost. Oh man, I might have to hold it. It's pretty annoying. Five minutes of holding it. What? I'm not gonna do that. I'll balance it. Let's get it. Okay, perfect. So, modern phones are crazy, by the way. That's a 10x zoom from just a cell phone. What the heck are we doing? It's still at 4.3 volts, 4 amps. I think that's probably an appropriate current, and then it just needs more time. If that's not going to do it, I'm not sure that higher voltage amps would, but I would love comments from a more experienced electropolisher. I'm sure this is probably pretty funny if you've been doing this for a long time. Definitely hit me with your tips and tricks. Would you use more soap? Is soap a silly idea? All of it, any of it, I want to learn. I'm going to leave that in there for 2 more minutes. I'll show you my fire agate. Check this out. Little fire agate ring. Came out of the bath a couple days ago. I really like that one. I'll turn it in 20 seconds. Go with the other side. You know what? I'm not going to turn it, and no, I am. I was going to say we'll see to what extent it affects, you know, like how different was it from side to side, the side facing the cathode and the side not facing it. But I have already run that experiment. It's significant. The side not facing that lead is going to get like way less polished. So eventually having a bath with lead on both sides, so like all around it, would be ideal. Because right now I'm rotating it. It's something that you have to do if you want like an even polish. Continuing to think about it though, the side facing us doesn't really have that deep pitting that's on the back. See the back? It's probably the only part that needs that deep polish, and the underside, which is those are both facing the lead. I'm just going to leave it there another 20 seconds and pull it out. Boom. Turn off the power supply. Grab the piece. Dangle its drippy goodness back into the jar. Okay. And you know what? I'm gonna skip the. I'm skipping the blue ammonia. Maybe if I mix up a fresh batch, I'd be more encouraged. I feel like that might be changing the color a little bit. Oh, it's so good. Okay. Yeah, it did. It got more polished. It's still not maybe quite as polished in the center as it is on all the edges. But if you saw what I saw a minute ago, right here, like right where my thumb is covering, right? So you see it, now you don't, now you see it, now you don't. That area was significantly smaller. Right now, it's super bright. That whole area is very, very well polished. And before, it was a little bit smaller of an area. So it is reaching into the center. It is doing that kind of pitted spot in the back. And you might have to go back to the beginning of the video to see just how good this is compared to the start. But yeah, for a completely, I wouldn't say effortless, but compared to all of the other manual ways of polishing, with the exception of the tumblers, those are also super easy and I do like them. They just don't do super well on pieces like this. They do well on some of my other pieces that don't have as much texture, but the pieces with texture like this, you kind of got no choice but to go another route. Unless you want the really vintage kind of look, and I don't know, because I don't use any brighteners in my bath, I have that pink salmony look all the time. It's really not a look I love, so I'm either going to have to give it a patina or electropolish it or something like that. But anyway, this has been Electropolishing. Love you.